The recent situation with Love and Marriage Huntsville has fans in shock and confusion. What was first brushed off as rumors has now been confirmed by the network itself, and the fallout is exposing cracks that can no longer be ignored. The big issue here is that the show has officially gone on pause mid-season, something that fans never expected, and the confirmation from OWN came only days after Carlos King called the very same report fake news. This has left viewers questioning the direction of the show, the credibility of its producer, and most importantly, the survival of the franchise without Melody Shari, who many people believe was the anchor of everything. At the heart of the situation is the mid-season finale announcement. A Huntsville-based Instagram page revealed that episode 8 was not just another regular episode but actually the mid-season finale. Fans were shocked because historically, Love and Marriage Huntsville has always delivered long seasons, often stretching from 15 to even 20 episodes. The idea that the season would be chopped in half and paused after only 8 episodes didn't make sense to anyone. People were asking questions and demanding clarity. That's when Carlos King, the man behind the show, jumped into the comments to shut down the story. In all caps, he declared that the news was false and labeled it as fake news. For a moment, some fans believed him and dismissed the story as another example of gossip getting out of control. But the truth came out quickly. OWN themselves released an official banner that confirmed the show was indeed taking a break and would return on November 15 to air the rest of Season 6. That confirmation changed everything. Suddenly, Carlos King's bold denial wasn't just wrong, it made him look either out of touch or intentionally misleading. Bloggers and fans who were discredited by him were proven right, and the trust between viewers and production was damaged. When an audience begins to feel misled or manipulated, that is a dangerous moment for any reality show. This decision to cut the season and take a break raised an even bigger question: why did OWN feel the need to do this? For many fans, the answer is obvious: it is because the show is not the same without Melody Shari. From the very beginning, Love and Marriage Huntsville revolved around Melody and Martel's marriage, their struggles, and eventually their divorce. That storyline pulled viewers in, and from there, the other couples added supporting drama. Marceau and Letitia had their share of cheating rumors. Maurice and Kimmy had family dynamics and health battles. But through it all, Melody remained the heartbeat of the franchise. She carried the emotional weight, created the viral moments, and gave fans a reason to stay invested. Without her, the show now feels like it is running out of steam, and OWN pressing pause mid-season is clear evidence of that. Fans are right to ask how a network's #1 show suddenly finds itself unable to keep momentum. Taking a break is not normal for a series that is supposed to be a flagship. In television, breaks usually happen for one of two reasons: either there isn't enough strong content to keep the season going or production is scrambling to film more footage to fill in the gaps. Either way, it signals problems behind the scenes. And when you factor in Melody's absence, it becomes clear why the energy isn't the same. Without her, we are left with Martel repeating the same storyline about Ariane Curry, Marceau dodging questions about his alleged infidelity, Letitia constantly defending him, and Maurice and Kimmy providing softer moments that don't stir as much buzz. The fact that OWN confirmed the pause only days after Carlos tried to deny it shows how messy the situation really is. Carlos jumped in to control the narrative, trying to make himself look like the authority who had all the answers. But the network's announcement made him appear out of the loop, or worse, deceptive. For a producer known as the king of reality TV, this damages his credibility. Fans are now questioning not only the show's direction but Carlos King's ability to manage it. Has he underestimated just how vital Melody was to the franchise? Did he think the show could survive without her, only to be proven wrong? Or was this all an attempt to buy time while scrambling behind the scenes? The mid-season break doesn't just affect the production, it affects the audience. Loyal fans of the show feel betrayed. They have supported Love and Marriage Huntsville from day one, keeping conversations alive online, promoting the show through blogs and social media, and engaging in discussions every week. To have Carlos dismiss their concerns as fake news, only to be proven wrong by the network days later feels like a slap in the face. Once a reality show audience feels lied to, many of them check out for good. That is how shows collapse, not through lack of talent but through lack of trust. Meanwhile, Melody Shari is thriving without the show. She is proving that she was never dependent on it. Instead, the show was dependent on her. In recent months, she has received awards, walked in New York Fashion Week, expanded her businesses, and built a brand that goes beyond reality television. Her success is growing, while Love and Marriage Huntsville is pausing like a struggling rookie series instead of the crown jewel it once was. This contrast speaks volumes. It shows that Melody was the real star all along, and without her, the franchise is weakening. Looking at the ratings only reinforces this point. Just a few weeks ago, the show's numbers were hovering around 230,000 viewers. At one point, it climbed by about 7,000, but still remained in the low 200,000 range. These numbers are far below the 400,000 or 500,000 viewers the show used to attract at its peak. While the show still has an audience, the momentum is gone. The small increases don't signal victory, they only show that some viewers are hanging on out of curiosity. That is not the foundation of a thriving series, and OWN knows it. The current storylines are also exposing weaknesses in the cast. Marceau Scott has been stepping into a bigger spotlight, creating conflict and humor that keep episodes moving. However, Letitia's role has diminished noticeably. She has been absent in certain episodes, and when she does appear, fans argue she doesn't bring much energy or presence. Some viewers have even joked that her daughter has more star quality than she does. This imbalance raises questions about whether production is punishing Letitia for comments she made outside the show or simply deciding she is no longer a central player. Martel Holt remains unpredictable, always trying to find ways to stay relevant. In the mid-season finale, he had a conversation about possibly moving Ariane Curry into one of his properties. That moment revealed how much he still leans on the same old storyline. Many believe that if Carlos and OWN wanted to shock the audience and boost ratings, they might finally bring Ariane onto the show. Such a move would definitely stir attention, but it would also risk alienating a portion of the fan base. Some viewers would tune in just to see the drama, while others would quit watching altogether. It would be a risky gamble, but with ratings slipping, desperate measures may be on the table. Kimmy and Maurice Scott have continued to provide stability, but their storylines do not create the same buzz as the others. Kimmy is respected as a voice of reason, but in a show driven by conflict and spectacle, calmness doesn't attract headlines. Their presence is appreciated, but it doesn't replace the spark that Melody used to bring. Adding to the concerns is Carlos King's behavior during all of this. While the show faces struggles, Carlos has been busy giving interviews about other franchises like Real Housewives instead of focusing on Huntsville. This makes fans wonder whether his attention is divided and whether he is still fully invested in Love and Marriage Huntsville. For a producer, visibility and promotion are key, especially when a show is going through a challenging moment. The fact that Carlos wasn't even aware that episode 8 was going to be the mid-season finale says a lot about how disconnected things may be behind the scenes. When you put all the pieces together, the situation is clear. The show is pulling ratings in the low 200,000s. Melody Shari has stepped back, and her absence is being felt everywhere. Martel is recycling old drama, Marceau is taking more spotlight, Letitia is fading, and Kimmy and Maurice are quietly in the background. Carlos King appears distracted, and the network itself is testing how long the show can survive before major changes are made. The pause is not just a scheduling decision, it's a warning sign. Fans are deeply divided about what should happen next. Some believe the show is finished without Melody and think OWN should end it before the ratings collapse further. Others still enjoy the mess Martel creates and think bringing Ariane into the mix could spark a comeback. Marceau has his fans as well, who enjoy his humor and boldness, but many are critical of Letitia, feeling she adds little value. The conversation around the show has shifted from excitement to doubt, and that is never a good sign for a reality series. What this all proves is that Melody Shari was not just another cast member, she was the foundation. Without her, the show is struggling to find direction, and OWN's decision to pause the season makes that crystal clear. The bigger question now is whether the franchise can recover or whether this is truly the beginning of the end for what was once the network's crown jewel. As November 15th approaches, all eyes will be on the show's return. Will the ratings rebound, or will they continue to slide? Will Martel finally run out of storylines? Will Ariane appear and cause the explosion fans have speculated about for years? Will Marceau continue to dominate while Letitia fades? And most importantly, will Melody Shari ever consider returning to reclaim her throne, or is she gone for good? These unanswered questions will determine whether Love and Marriage Huntsville has a future or whether Season 6 quietly becomes its last. What we are witnessing is more than just a mid-season break. We are watching the franchise test its ability to survive without the woman who made it what it was. And right now, the cracks are showing more than ever. OWN has confirmed what Carlos King tried to deny, and in the process, they've exposed just how fragile the show has become.